And now to Brands Hatch with the Abarth 500 Assetto Corsa at the Indy circuit. Both car and circuit easy to drive, but hard to master. A much closer field as anticipated for this short technical track and car combination. Many teams during testing have been managing times 53 to 54 second mark on this short circuit. That would make the Abarth a momentum car, and as such it will be very difficult to defend the position after any mistakes. The slightest error adding easily half a second on that time. With the cars expected to be split by tenths, then we can expect some pretty close racing. And with all that in mind, let's introduce the qualifying results and the drivers. And the qualifying order: Alpha Lobster on pole, just squeezing 3/10 ahead of company 071 at the front. Joseph Mitchell and Jamida 303 in third and fourth spots. Charles Kelly with a great performance from Ziz Omni taking 5th and 6th. Popcorn and Frank with some work to do in 7th and 8th with Windows Vista, and race director TG Dirty Ewok not paying attention at the back of the class. Waiting for the lights to go out just as Ziz Omni creeps forwards on the line with a clutch problem. And a good start for all except Ziz Omni, who hesitates and gets jumped by Frank. Also a slow start for Jamid as he gets passed by Charles Kelly and then Popcorn before Paddock Hill Bend. Down the hill within to Druids, Alpha Lobster still leading and Charles Kelly challenging Joseph Mitchell. A good start for Charles Kelly. And it does appear that Popcorn has gone wide with Jamid looking up the inside deep into Druids. And also you can see TG Dirty Ewok takes advantage of the traffic and gets past Windows Vista into 9th. The field through Surtees into McLaren to face one of the most technical double apex corners in motor racing, Clearways. With the drivers now starting to spread out as Alpha Lobster rounds Clark Curve into Brabham for lap 1, closely followed by company 071, then Charles Kelly challenged by Joseph Mitchell, then Popcorn, Jamid, Ziz Omni and TG Dirty Ewok. There we have Windows Vista with momentum out of Clark Curve, making a move on the race director. Will it stick? Lap 2, Windows Vista taking the inside line alongside Dirty Ewok. Much faster, but can he hold his line? Dirty Ewok going for the switchback as Windows Vista scrubs off too much speed out of Paddock Hill and loses out. As Ziz Omni enters the pits to serve his drive-through penalty for jumping the start earlier on, visibly seen banging the steering wheel in frustration. And talking about frustration now, in car with Frank as he overtakes Ziz Omni, misses a shift, revs to about 13,000 RPM, blows the engine, is forced to pull over onto the side. That is going to be a lengthy repair, costing several laps. And again, Windows Vista getting a great run on Dirty Ewok. Clearways is the most important corner on the Indy circuit, dictating speed through the Brabham Straight. Dirty Ewok holding a defensive line. Windows Vista misjudges, makes contact, pushing him out onto the gravel into a spin. He is forced then to wait for Ziz Omni before rejoining. Popcorn being challenged by Jamid into Druids, being forced wide, a very wide exit, forcing an awkward entry into Graham Hill Bend. Jamid closing right up to Popcorn's throaty Akrapovic exhaust, looking at a very brave inside move into Surtees. Maintaining his momentum around the outside of Clearways and into Brabham. With a nose ahead into Paddock Hill Bend, but with too much speed and offline at the off-camber downhill Paddock Hill, resulting in a visit into the gravel. This being the infamous Paddock Hill Bend, he's certainly in good company. As the saying goes, if you haven't, you will. Joseph Mitchell, apparently too aggressive, off the throttle and on the brakes, lets the back end come around in McLaren, contacting the barrier. Due to the mishap, is then passed by Popcorn and Jamid. More Paddock Hill woes, Ziz Omni demonstrating how intolerant the Abarth is to inside curbs. always pushing wide with the inside wheels displaced, also into the gravel, manages to keep it straight and recovers. Quarter of the way through, still Alpha Lobster leading company 071, the distance between them hardly varying, with them trading tenths each lap. Charles Kelly a little bit further adrift in third, but with a very consistent drive. And we can see Popcorn capitalising on the mistakes of his previous protagonists, followed by Jamid 303 and Joseph Mitchell, now in their own private war. And several seconds back now, exiting clearways into Brabham. Ziz Omni trying to make up a place on Dirty Ewok after his penalty. And finally, Windows Vista, put back by his previous mistake at Paddock Hill Bend. And finally, cutting a very lonely figure. Frank, 8 laps down after his engine replacement. The engine change would have been longer, but the technical director said there was no engine remaining to remove, apparently vaporised. As it happens, one of the spectators posted a picture of one of Frank's pistons on Twitter. He found it in the public car park, nearly half a kilometre from the start line. End of lap 12, and the leaders are now starting to lap the back markers. Popcorn and Joseph Mitchell kick off the mandatory pit stops and tyre change. What looked like a snap decision by Joseph to follow Popcorn in. Both drivers then appearing to miss their pit boxes and having to shuffle around to get settled in. But it is Joseph Mitchell who completes his tyre change first, exiting the pits ahead of Popcorn. And back to the leaders, Alpha Lobster and Company 071, who have also come into pits. Alpha Lobster making a rookie error, missing his pit box, fumbles to find reverse, wasting valuable time. Company 071 gets away first with a faultless stop. Alpha Lobster now in second as they exit onto Paddock Hill Bend. And this entry-level race car seems to be bringing out the beginner in many drivers. Race director TG Dirty Ewok misunderstanding his own rules and fails to pit in the allotted window and gets disqualified as a result. Dirty Ewok admitted post-race that he forgot the lap window was based on the leader's current lap and not each individual driver's. And Frank also failed to pit within the window and was also DQ'd. Lap 17, just over halfway, and the running order is Company 071 in first with Alpha Lobster on its bumper. Charles Kelly in third, nearly a lap down. Next up is Joseph Mitchell, already a lap down in fourth, followed a few seconds later by Popcorn in fifth. Jamid holding position close behind in sixth. Ziz Omni running a good race and recovering best he can in seventh. 8 places with plucky Windows Vista, getting some valuable experience at the back as the final survivor. Lap 20 and Company 071 Alpha Lobster hot on his scorpion tail swing into Druids and lap third place Charles Kelly. Jimmy getting a great exit out of Clark Curve and looking to pass Popcorn into Paddock Hill Bend. Popcorn tentatively trying to defend whilst Jamid pushes a bit wide and they meet in the middle, sending them in separate directions off the track. Popcorn recovers last after bouncing across the gravel, but by rights Jamid should have handed that place back to Popcorn. And the leaders are lapping Ziz Omni into Brabham Straight. Ziz Omni doing the decent thing, staying out wide to let Company 071 through. Due to the awkward nature of Paddock Hill, he rightfully rejoins normal line, holding up Alpha Lobster a tad. Such is the nature of the car and the circuit. Ziz Omni very wide exiting Druids. A lack of concentration puts a wheel off into Graham Hill Bend. This has the effect of sucking the car off the track onto the grass, exactly what happened here. Bounding across the turf, he re-enters safely, gathers his composure, resumes his otherwise great drive today. Windows Vista very aggressive over the curbs in Surtees. This requires very smooth transitions with the controls, but Windows may be a bit digital with his inputs, and the back end wants a better view. Backwards into the barrier, just about manages to keep out of the way of Joseph Mitchell when he re-enters in McLaren. Now in car with Alpha Lobster, the closing stages, and Alpha has managed to close the gap, but not decisively, and is unable to make a move. With lap traffic up ahead, will there be an opportunity? Company 071 holding a defensive line. Alpha fighting some understeer, up to Druids, closing the gap, but goes too deep and loses a chance. Both leaders closing up on Windows Vista and Popcorn into Surtees. Over the curb, easy throttle to avoid understeer. Looking inside Company 071, trying to get an angle into clearways. Company 071 passes Windows Vista around the outside. Alpha Lobster trying to follow, but lacking the momentum to make a decisive pass. Windows Vista not ceding any ground to the second place man, side by side through Clark Curve. Windows Vista now nosing back ahead with the shorter line, but drifting back towards Alpha Lobster, seemingly unaware he is being lapped. Alpha Lobster trying to hold the fastest line. They bang doors. Alpha Lobster is shunted off onto the grass, loses control and makes heavy contact with the barriers. A steady rejoin, but he has lost too much time now. Company 071 crosses the line for his maiden win. Victory in the Chris Haye Sim Racing Abarth Assetto Corsa at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Now several seconds back, Alpha Lobster, who realistically lost the race with his mistake in the pit stop, crosses in second. And Charles Kelly in third, last place on the podium, clearly enjoying the car and track. A faultless drive from him. The conclusion to our fifth event. Some really great drives from our regulars, solid and proven performances all round, and, well, one or two reminders how not to do it, especially from our more experienced drivers regarding pitting. Also, some takeaways regarding awareness of lapping drivers. But let's not forget, these events are for gaining experience whilst having fun. We think we're succeeding in that, and we hope you agree. Great effort and input from all our drivers, and once again, congratulations to the finishers. Just a reminder, events are now equally, so next up is the Seat Leon TCR at Anglesey, a challenging track according to earlier reports. See you there.